So for part two of homework two, I picked Mr. Carcass as my product, and I picked that based on I just thought it was a really cool idea. So it's kind of going after how the food system in America is kind of messed up in the way that we feed animals, like how people think animals are treated, all that stuff. So basically, what this is doing is more a wholesome way of growing animals. So this is really interesting to me because I grew up on a farm. So I grew up, we had like cows, pigs, sheep, chickens, turkeys, like whole nine yards. So like I know the difference between like if I go to Big Y and buy meat, or actually you guys like Big Y is just like a star market out where I come from. So if like Big Y meat versus when I grew my own meat, or I should say grow my own meat, but you get the idea. So basically, just farm raised beef that's eating hay. It's eating like real grain, not just like corn. Sometimes we did give our cows corn, but it was more like almost as a treat because they really seem to like that. We didn't do it as like their main meal. It's like they get grain and hay and then a little bit of corn in with that. So basically, the meat's way better, especially when they have space to move around. We had 6 cows, and you technically only need 100 square feet per cow, but we had like probably like 10 or 15 times that, just because like when they can move around, they're happier. Yeah, so basically, it's just a good way to get after new products. So there's a big push for like farmers markets and fresh meat and not getting things through the American food system, which if you've ever watched Food Inc., like even though it's kind of a biased documentary, it's still very informative, and like it's known that it's very messed up. Like when the jungle was written, people kind of realized it, and people don't realize that the food system's still kind of that bad. So they kind of went after, well, how might we get people a better quality product? Well, we're gonna not have animals in really cramped feedlots. We're gonna have room for them. How might we get this stuff out? So instead of being small, they send you, like in the picture shows, it's just meat in butcher paper. Other how might we questions, like how might we guarantee freshness? Well, it's gonna have to be shipped fresh. You're not gonna be going through a whole system and having it frozen, shipped somewhere, unfrozen, refrozen, all that kind of stuff. How might we get people intrigued in this? Well, that's already something that's easy because especially in America, there's already a big push for fresh foods, all that kind of stuff. So they went after a really attainable market in that people want good food, and as long as they can provide it at a somewhat competitive price, obviously like there's people with a lot of money that want to eat well, so they're going to do no matter what they want. But the only way for this to work is to provide quality product at a good price, which it seems like they're able to pull off. So if I didn't live on a farm or and have a bunch of neighbors that lived on farms to get quality meat from, if I lived somewhere in Boston, this is probably something I'd look into to get good quality meat, because there's really nothing that can beat it. If you eat a Big Y steak and then you eat a steak that came like from my farm, like there's no comparison. And you'd have to go to a really good steakhouse that dry ages their meat and all that stuff to get a comparable piece of meat for the same price. So I'm really interested in this. I'd actually check it out if I didn't have other alternatives.